What's up to all my Cinema 4D users out there? Hi, Sachin Mishram here. Have you ever watched a super satisfying, seemingly impossible video and wonder, I wonder how they did that? So I will satisfy your needs and show you guys how to easily create this ultra satisfying animation in Cinema 4D with all the tips and tricks and secrets on how it's done. So let's hop over to Cinema 4D. Okay, so you open up a new document. We start straight away with a cube. So we make a new cube. I go to object. I will change the height and width of this cube. Okay. So this is the base of our character. Now we create a null object and name it rotation. And we will move the null to the corner where we have the cube to flip. So we take the null and we move it first out to the corner that we are on the edge of this cube, and then move it down exactly on the corner where we want to flip. So now we pack the cube into rotation and we can start animating it. So we just grab the rotation, go to coordinates and we set the keyframe at 0 and we go to 30 and flip it 90 degrees and set the keyframe. Let's also open up the curves. So we can bring this here and the impact will be very fast impact. So we move this away and here we increase the ease. So no ease in the end, just ease in the beginning. And now we have nice falling over. Could be even more extreme. Okay, this looks good. Alright, so this is the first part of our animation. Let's now create an eye. So we can go up here and make a new sphere object. Change its radius and segments. We bring it up exactly on top of the cube. And now we add this into a null. Alt plus G to do that and we call it eyeball. And we add eyeball into rotation. And now we have the eyeball falling down with the cube. Now let's switch on the shading lines and on frame 0 we want the sphere to face to the front. So we just grab this sphere and turn it 90 degrees. So we have it facing exactly towards the front. Now, when we come to 30, we want this eye to roll and to arrive in again a facing forward position. That means that the eyeball has to rotate 3/4 of a spin. Plus, we want it to roll 2 additional full spins. So let's go here on 30. We set the keyframe and we go to 90 and we want it to spin 360 by 2. So 2 full spins plus 270, which is a 3/4 spin. And it's facing exactly to the front again. And we set the keyframe. So now that we have this, we have 2 rotation. And the next thing we want to do is how far it moves. So for that, we go in here to the eyeball, we set the keyframe on on y in this case, because it has to move in this direction. So we set the keyframe on y on 30, we go to 90, and we have 2 full spin, so plus 200, because we have 16, which is 100 centimeters of circumference, and then we have an additional 3/4, meaning that is 75 of 100, so plus 75, and let's just round it down to 450. So we have straight numbers and it's easier, and we set the keyframe. And now we have this one falling down and rolling towards the front. Let's adjust the curves a bit. So we choose our eyeball. So the impact is very quick and they are rolling out. It's a strong ease. Let's see how this looks. Okay, good. This feels quite natural. Good. So that is the base we need for the animation. Now let's make a cube where this whole action is happening on top. So let's create a cube. Let's calculate a bit how far this has to roll and how big this cube has to be. So if we go in here, we see that our eye needs to go from this position, which is exactly 0, to this position. And let's see how far this has gone. And the easy trick is to just go to the last. You grab this spear, inside you copy and paste it outside. And now you can read exactly that it moved 466 centimeters. So that means that our base has to be 466 centimeters long in the X space, and we want to move it exactly down again. First of all, let's change the height to something like 800, because we need a high number. And now let's bring it exactly back on the corner of our cube, so it is standing on. Now we have this action happening exactly on our cube, and our eye arrives exactly where we need it to be. Great. Let's now go back to perspective view and let's give the cube z of 100 centimeters. So it's the same as the cube. We can get rid of that. Let's now look into camera move. So here we have two movements. We have the X direction and the Y direction, because this eyes goes also down. So we create a null again and we call it main. You go on 0. If we go in the last frame, and we know that 466 was this whole action, so we go on all coordinate, go back to 0, set a keyframe on X, go to 90, set it to minus 466, set the keyframe, and it also moves in the Y. So we set the keyframe on 0, 0, and we know that this has to move up 160 centimeters. That's the height of our cube, and we set the keyframe that straight away. Go in here and make it linear. Go back to 0. Now we pack the cube and the rotation into main. And we have a nice camera movement. And if you look at the eye, it works perfectly great. Let's make 89 frames, so we don't have the double frames and it works smoothly and nice. Good. Let's now duplicate the eye. Sorry, just let's call this one eye right and the other one eye left, and we move eye right 16 centimeters into Z, and eye left minus 16 centimeters And now we have our two eyes rolling. Alright, so this is pretty much it for the elements we need. Now we are going to tweak the design of our falling down cube. We have our two rolling eyes and our cube falling. Let's go in and straight away at maybe a mouth. So we create a tube and we adjust the settings of inner and outer radius and height. And rotation segments, that's good. We bring it also higher. And we put it into our rotation knob and we have our mouth falling with the cube. Now let's look at the body. So we create a volume builder and a measure. We put the builder into the measure and this goes also into our rotation. Now we can bring our cube and put it into the builder and it's smooth. Let's go to the builder and put this into one. And let's also grab the mouth and place it into the builder. And we say to subtract. Let me go here. So it cuts out the whole thing and we put a smoother on top and keep voxel distance 1. And this is the body we want to have. Okay, let's put the tube back up and we can give it a nice fill. It looks good. And we are basically set. Okay, great. Let's also grab our big cube and give it a fillet. And also let's put the form to something like 10 so we don't get this wobbly line. It's straight line and it is looking great. We are pretty good. Let's increase on the cube. Maybe we put it to 5. So you have a few more subdivisions on the cube here. And this is pretty much all we need to get into render this thing out. We go straight into render settings here and we change to square format 1080 by 1080 and we always keep it on 25 frames per second. Now let's add a camera. Then go to camera settings. So in object, change focal length to 80. Go to coordinates and let's set this rotation to 0. So we always straight in front, which means that when the lines move fast, they are always exactly parallel. That looks nice. Good. So here we go. This is the look of our camera looking good. Let's create a plane and we can rotate plane towards the camera 90 degrees and we make it bigger so that it fits all the screen of our camera view. And we move it way back. Let's move it even more to the back. And this is looking nice. Now let's add an area light to the scene. Position it here. Make area shadow. You see us starting to get some shadows here from our light. Let's add one more light to brighten it up. Bring it more in the front side to brighten the scene. And let's also make a big top light. So we create an additional area light and let's rotate it. But it looks exactly down 90 degrees and we move it up. and we make it a lot bigger and move it more up so that we don't see it anymore in the camera. And let's bring it down and it looks nice. Good. So this is more or less lights setup. We can start working with, let's go into materials and start with a background. So we are going to here, we make a diffuse material, drag it onto our plane, and we want a nice color. This looks pretty good. Let's now go into our body. So we create a new material, a universal material. Make the material less reflective. In reflectance, add a reflection legacy. Then in layer 1, in texture, add fresnel. That gives us that nice look. We can adjust the roughness. Also adjust the reflectance. Play with few more settings. I am happy with this. So now let's go to the eyes. So we go closer. So you switch the camera off so we can keep it for later in position. Okay. We choose now our spheres. Hit C and again C. So it gets editable. We can duplicate this material and make it white, kind of gray, white. And we just drag it onto our spheres. So they get nice, shiny. We choose it and put projection to cubic. And this is looking nice. And now we duplicate this material again and we make it like a dark blue again. Good. We go to the polygon selection and to live selection. And now we can choose again the polygons. We want to have black and material on top. We go to the other eye to do the same thing and drag this on top. Good. Add material to the mouth and the base cube. Alright, let's go back to main camera and objects mode. And this is looking pretty nice. So once this is done, we can start now to create the additional steps and elements we need for the scenes. So to do that, we create a null and let's call it step. And we go back to 0 and we place step into main. And now place both rotation and cube into step. Okay, and now what we can do is just duplicating the step and we go to the coordinates and we know we move it 466 in X. So the line's exactly here and it goes down 116 height. So we have it exactly where we need. And if we move now, we see the animation, which we don't need because it is standing there. So we go back to 0, we choose our step 1, we go in here. We actually don't need the eyes, so we can delete the eyes. And we can go to the F curve and we chose now in step 1 rotation. So it comes out here and we can just delete rotation. So we don't have an animation happening anymore. Okay. So when we come to the last frame, so let's go. Sure. We see that we are missing here actually of a cube. So we need an additional step. So we copy this again and here we can just 2 by 2 and also this by 2, and we have it exactly in place. So now we need also an additional step in the back. No, this has to be now minus 466, so it goes to the back and plus 160 to top, and we have it there. And the difference on the ones in the back is that this one already is flipped over, so we go in here to the rotation and flip it over back 90 degrees and this line. Alright, and we have ready to go. Nearly we have to adjust our camera, so we go into a camera. We want to have depth of field here on a character, and this is sharp here on the eye, the center, and is looking nice. We get a bit of blur in the front and blur in the back. It gives a bit more depth to the picture. You can adjust the settings as you need. You can adjust the settings as you feel. Good. So now we are ready to go. Alright, so let's go up here. Output all frames. Add ambient occlusion for better smooth output. Adjust anti-aliasing to best. And we are ready to go to add to render queue. Yes, I want to save it here. I go to choose. Where are we going to save it? A new folder, loop animation, and off we go. Alright, bring it into After Effects, tweak the colors and make a nice color grade. Render it out as an MP4 to share and upload on social platforms. And again, feel free to make this yours. So that's the end of our tutorial, and I'm really looking forward to see what you guys come up with, and I would love to see it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you will dig deeper into 3D and continue having fun with it. So thanks for listening, and hope to see you soon. Bye.